Hello and welcome to Winchester Now. I'm Mary Blaxland. On today's programme, the staffing crisis affecting many of our local businesses and what's being done to help. Winchester remembers all those caught up in the war in Ukraine, and the café that's raised thousands of pounds for local charities and helping combat loneliness. Winchester Radio. Many companies in Winchester are struggling to recruit staff, with some being forced to cut the services they provide as a result. Among the sectors most affected is the care service. Across Hampshire there are 3,500 care worker vacancies. 1,700 jobs need filling in catering. Winchester City Council and the Job Centre organised a recruitment fair to try to match employers with those looking for work. I spoke to some of the businesses about the challenges they're facing.
My name's Layla, I'm the catering services lead at Marwell Zoo. Well, obviously we're getting to our peak season now, so we're just looking for recruitment for our guest services, our catering, our retail and admissions departments, to try to drum up a bit of interest.
How difficult is it to find staff at the moment?
At the moment it has been tricky. Obviously after COVID a lot of people moved away from certainly the catering side of it and are a bit reluctant to come back into that area of work, but we're hopeful that it will start picking up over the next few months, but it has been difficult.
And how has that impacted you as a business?
Not having staff, we can't open as much within our zoo, so obviously we don't get the benefit of taking the money that we would normally have made because we can't open as many catering, certainly outlets, so it has impacted us a lot.
And how many staff are you hoping, or how many staff do you need?
Well, in catering we're looking for about 15 members of staff for our busy peak season. We've got a lot of outlets, a lot of hungry guests to serve, so we're hoping to get as many as we can get.
I'm Tony Winterton from Homestead. Yeah, it's pretty tough at the moment. We've got a large number of vacancies that we're trying to fill for care professionals. Trying to attract people into the industry is quite challenging at the moment.
Why don't people want to go into the care profession? Is it simply money?
I don't think it's money as such. Sometimes it's a perception of what care actually is. So I think sort of education about what the care sector is all about is extremely important. And I think people don't always have the right idea what care's about.
And does that mean then you're not able to help as many people as you'd like to help?
We would love to help as many people as we can, but obviously we can only help as many as we can for the amount of staff we've actually got. Obviously our service has got to be a safe service, so we can't take on extra clients if we can't look after them. So if you're listening to this out there and if you want to come and work for Homestead, please do get in touch.
Does that mean you're having to turn people away who maybe need help?
We're putting people on a waiting list at the moment, and as we gradually sort of recruit people in, then we'll bring people in from the waiting. So turning away, probably a bit strong wording, but we are certainly having a waiting list for people to actually look after.
And what are you hoping from today?
Hoping some people come and talk to me. It gives me an opportunity to explain what care's all about, the good things and the bad things that's involved in working in care. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we can encourage a couple of people to actually join us or actually go away and think about it if it's something that they'll be interested in doing.
My name's Kerry Bowers and I'm a HR recruitment officer at the University of Winchester. So we're just trying to get a bit more exposure to show that we don't just have roles for just academics or education. There's a variety of roles from catering, cleaning, administrators. We've got roles in estates and facilities. So it's just trying to get our name out there a little bit more, really.
How difficult is it to fill some of those roles?
Sometimes it can be a little bit of a struggle just purely because I think people look at the university and think that it's just for academics. When we do have such a range of roles, there is a place for everyone, so it's nice to actually get our name out there a bit more.
So do events like this really help with doing that?
Oh yeah, definitely, and it gets us part of the community as well. It gets us more involved, and I think people come over and don't actually expect us to have any of those roles in those areas, so it's definitely worth coming.
And so far it looks like you've been quite busy.
Yeah, I know, it's been really, really good.
Kerry Bowers from the University of Winchester ending those interviews. A candlelit vigil has been held in Winchester to remember the people of Ukraine a year after the Russian invasion. More than 100 people gathered in the Abbey Gardens where a silence was held. I spoke to Canon Tess from Winchester Cathedral and to Julia, who came to Winchester with her son after fleeing their hometown of Kyiv.
Today I remember what I feel 1 year ago because the war started very suddenly. I did not know what to do. I did not know where to run, and it was very confusing. In my homeland, the situation very unpredictable because I am from Kyiv, but I hope because my family, my father, my brother stay here, and I hope that Kyiv protected good because it's capital. I am also worried about them. I am always worried about my relatives. My father, he can join me here, but he does not want. It's difficult for me to be separated from my relatives, my friends, but I should say we have very good Ukrainian community here and in Winchester, and I am happy to be attended to that community.
And despite everything happening, you say you try and stay positive.
In my life, I am optimist, and despite I had a lot of difficult time, we should keep positive way of thinking. I think what can I do in this situation to be the best? I am psychologist, so I try to support Ukrainian people here. I can say that one good thing all Ukrainians understand in this situation, we need to live today, just now, at the moment. Because we don't know what can happen tomorrow. I try to teach my clients to think positively. I am CBT psychologist, and CBT says that we all slaves of our thinking. I understand it's very important, and it's my position in life.
My name is Canon Tess, and I'm the Canon Missioner at Winchester Cathedral. This evening is the opportunity for people in Winchester to come together and to mark the 1-year anniversary to the day in this place. Last February, fairly soon after the war happened, there was a vigil here in Abbey Gardens in Winchester in the pouring rain, and we had about 250 people who just came because they wanted to just be present and sort of make their feelings known, albeit in silence. And then shortly after that, the cathedral opened up its doors and cleared all its chairs out and invited people to come there for a multi-faith gathering. I think everyone brought a daffodil, actually, and laid candles up on a big map of Ukraine up at the top by the altar. We called it Stand with Ukraine. It was just an opportunity to stand, to be present, to feel as though you were making some kind of, not protest exactly, but some sense of just being with the people of Ukraine when you felt so helpless in all other respects.
It's hard to believe it's a year ago and so many lives have been lost. What are your thoughts today?
It is extraordinary that it's a year. It started on a Thursday last year, and at the cathedral we have marked every Thursday how many days it's been, and we count the days and we state them, because in the same way that every day matters and we want it to not disappear, as it were, to be taken off the news. We want to remember it at all times, and also to remember all those lives that have been lost. And it's just unbearably painful, really, and that it's happening here in Europe in our lifetime again feels deeply shocking.
There's lots of people from Ukraine here in Winchester, and we can't begin to imagine what they must be going through and what they must be thinking as well today.
I think it's incredibly hard to feel what they're feeling. But again, part of what we're doing here tonight is to stand beside them and to say we're with you in solidarity, and that's about as much as we can do, really. We do have a growing community from Ukraine in Winchester and around, and it's been so wonderful to meet with them, to connect with them, and to get to know them better. That has been fantastic, but always a piece of their heart will be in Ukraine, and there's no way that can ever change.
Canon Tess there from Winchester Cathedral. Now for a roundup of some of the other stories making the news in Winchester this week, here's Steve.
People in Winchester are being invited to discuss plans for the empty River Park Leisure Centre. The University of Southampton is holding what it calls the start of a conversation about plans to use the site to expand the Winchester School of Art campus. The event is being held at the School of Art Café this Saturday between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. The City Council plans to transfer the leisure centre to the university, which has met with some opposition from residents who say the land was given to the city for recreational use. This week sees another strike by teachers in a row over pay. A number of schools in the Winchester area have been impacted, with closures or partial closures. Further action is also planned for next month. Marwell Zoo has announced the sad death of its female red panda May May, who was 9 years old. Born at Welsh Mountain Zoo in 2013, she arrived at Marwell in 2014 and has been a favourite among guests due to her endearing looks and personality. The news follows the unrelated death of her male companion, Peter, last year. Marwell says the pair will be sadly missed. As a result, the zoo is now temporarily without red pandas, but it's hoped the species will be back again soon. Winchester's new Sport and Leisure Centre has been nominated for a prestigious architecture award. The building, which opened in May 2021, is one of 16 projects across the south being considered for a commendation by the Royal Institute of British Architects. Other nominees range from a yoga centre to a theatre. The projects will be assessed by a jury, with the winners announced later in the spring. Finally, it's the first week of work for the new Chief Constable of Hampshire and the Isle of Wight. Scott Chilton has returned to the force, where he began his policing career as an 18-year-old. With 31 years of experience, he worked his way through uniformed policing and spent 16 years as a detective before becoming Chief Constable in Dorset. He says his priority is making sure that Hampshire and the Isle of Wight are safe for everyone.
Winchester Radio.
A community café in a village near Winchester has raised £15,000 for local charities since it was set up in 2015. The Winchester Community Café meets once a month at the Victoria Hall in Sutton, Scotland. I went along for a cuppa. The buzz of the Victoria Hall echoing with the sound of chatter and laughter. This community café raises money for charity, but it's also a place where people come to meet friends, old and new. It first started at the Winchester Arms in 2015, but moved to the Victoria Hall in Sutton, Scotland after the pandemic. Many people have been coming each month since day one. So why have you been coming along since the beginning? What makes it so special?
Oh, because it's a community feel, lots of local people, and it's always for a good cause. So we come and have coffee and cake and enjoy donating to different charities.
So you must have seen it grow over the years.
It has. There's probably twice as many people come regularly now as used to. Plus they've got more space and parking here than they had before. So it's nice to see different charities involved. Just a very relaxing morning.
Well, it's really to meet people, acquaintances really, and we catch up. I mean, I see Tony in church, and then we meet up here. Anyone can join. I'm on my own, you're on your own, and we just all meet up and chat.
It's lovely to get out of the house and meet people. It works a treat with the opportunity to meet people who are local and enjoy conversation and enjoy homemade cake.
As soon as it started, we started to come and support it, and purely because we like to come and support all the good charities that they raise money for, and also it's a community aspect that we love. We meet friends, new friends, old friends, and just enjoy the time here.
It's a wonderful atmosphere, isn't it?
It's beautiful. It is really, really good here. Yeah, love it. Love it.
The community café raises money for a different charity each month, over the years totalling £15,000. February's charity was Goalball. Their representative Pip is here today.
Goalball is a sport for the visually impaired. It's Paralympic sport. We had a player from Winchester who was at Peter Simmons at the time, who was in the 2012 Paralympics, and when he got back decided to start the Goalball Club. So we cover all ages, well, from 8 upwards. We train every 2 weeks. They do tournaments all over the country. There's 3 players per team, and the ball has bells in it so they can hear it because all the players are blindfolded. They've got goggles on. The lines are all tactile so they can feel it. The purpose of the game is to try and score goals against the other team.
And what do you think of the cafe holding this fundraiser for you today?
It's fantastic. It's a lovely idea to raise funds for local charities. It'll make a huge difference because we're a small charity. We do get a few grants, but mainly it's run by volunteers. So yes, it is brilliant. It's a big, big boost for us.
A hive of activity in the kitchen. Volunteers have made an array of homemade cakes. Others set up, take orders and prepare and serve the drinks. It's a welcoming scene. Each table decorated with a tablecloth and a vase of flowers. The parish council has given a grant to help cover the rent of the hall. Sue Nielsen has been involved since 2016.
Last month we were so busy that we actually ran out of mugs, we ran out of coffee. We were just not expecting in January, which has always been a quiet month previously, we just weren't expecting to be inundated with so many people. It was quite amazing, quite amazing. It does depend on the charity as well, because we try and have people that have links. So blood-wise, one of our ladies lost her husband to leukemia, so it's very special to her. Next month we have Boaz, and again we have a helper who also volunteers there. So we try and keep the charities linked, so it works extremely well. We're very fortunate that a lot of our people give very, very generous donations, so it's excellent.
This community cafe meets on the third Wednesday of the month from 9:30 to midday. Everyone is welcome. And we finish today with our shout-outs for those who've gone above and beyond in our community. Here's Paul.
Our first shout-out is to the volunteers at the Hampshire Search and Rescue as the organisation marks its 20th anniversary. The team works alongside the police in searching for vulnerable missing people in Hampshire. The team has grown to 125 members and are on call 24/7. Over 2 decades, they have completed more than 1,000 searches. Then congratulations to staff and volunteers at the Watercress Line, who've been presented with the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service this week by the Lord Lieutenant of Hampshire at Alresford Station. The award is the highest honour a voluntary group can receive in the UK. The Watercress Line was one of 244 local charities and voluntary groups to receive the late Queen's Award last year. It showcases the ways in which volunteers contribute to their communities and make life better for those around them. Back in January, we told you about the Hampshire Hospital's annual charity pantomime. Well, the performance raised an impressive £7,500 for the Hampshire Hospital's charity. The show, named Aladdin and the Magical Bedpan, sold over 700 tickets. The cast included nurses, consultants and other healthcare staff, including some from our hospital here in Winchester. The money will be used to support patients, staff and volunteers at the Hampshire hospitals, including funding equipment, refurbishment and staff welfare initiatives. Finally, a big thanks to volunteers who put on an old-fashioned style jumble sale to raise funds for Unit 12 in Winchester. It took place at St Mary's Chapel Hall in Kingsworthy, which was jam-packed with people, with others queuing outside for up to 45 minutes to grab a bargain. The event raised £1,500 and the money will help the pantry, which supports local families at these rough times.
Winchester Radio.
Well, thanks to Paul and to Steve, and thanks to you for listening. We'll be back at the same time next week. Until then, goodbye.